How's it going, guys? And welcome to Billy the Batboy's Corner, presented by Up On Game. I'm Billy Pinckney, and today we have Jermaine Curtis joining the show. He is a true story of adversity and battling through the minor leagues. He's somebody who spent over a decade in the minor leagues and eventually did make it to the big leagues. And it's a true inspirational story. And here's Jermaine right now. All right, guys, we're here alongside former big leaguer and 11-year pro baseball player Jermaine Curtis. Jermaine, appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, started off at the University of California. How impactful was it to be there with that coaching staff and just play baseball for your career there?
Well, before jumping into UCLA, I have to take you back where I grew up. I grew up in a rough area, and being able to play at UCLA, I mean, it just showed me a different life. And that's that program with Coach Savage. We had Coach Green. We had some very, very good coaches on our staff. It just changed, my whole life, and it was the best decision I ever made. I went to a school where we were number one in the nation, and we had players such as Brandon Crawford, Gabe Cohen, Tim Murphy, guys that, eventually went on to play in the big leagues. And it just took my game to that next level and helped me mentally and helped me grow up in society as well.
And to the kids out there who might be looking to play college baseball, how would you say they go about the process of finding that right school, that right fit? If there's maybe a couple that they're interested in but aren't sure where to pull the trigger on which one to choose?
I think you need to go where you're going to play. I mean, now in today's day where you're competing versus the world, because when I went to college, it was like, all right, there's a certain group of players that you were competing with, right? UCLA was only recruiting amongst like 2 hours, 3 hours outside of UCLA. Well, now with social media, they're recruiting amongst the world. So now that you're in this space and this time, you have to go where you can play. I mean, the best decision I ever made was going to UCLA because the year before they lost, I think it was like 19 to 20 games in a row. So they weren't really a good team yet. So we knew as freshmen we were going to come in and play. And so that would be my advice to you. Go to a place where, the doors are open to you. Look and see, all right, are the juniors and seniors, are they leaving the program? You know what I mean? So that you have a chance to go in there and play right away. What's the point of going to a D1 program or a sexy program if you're not even going to play?
Yeah, we see a lot of kids doing that too. They think that it's the bigger name schools. They want to go to a D1 school, but they'll be sitting the bench the whole time, maybe not even get many opportunities to get on the baseball field, where if you go to a D2 or 3 school, you could play every day and get yourself in front of those scouts and those other teams more easily. And especially with video and technology, like you mentioned, you could get yourself in front of these teams very, very easily.
Right.
Well, you also mentioned Brandon Crawford, right? You play with him. What can you say about playing with a guy like that?
Brandon Crawford, one of my good buddies, still to this day. Playing with him was a blessing. I got to see what a true shortstop was. I played shortstop in high school, and then when I was competing versus him, my shortstop, I was like, uh-oh. He just made every play look so easy. He had a cannon he had a big league arm already in college, and he wasn't too flashy, but he just made every play. And I realized right there that was a big league shortstop. And as far as, I got moved over to third base. So 3 years, me and him became very close. We would, talk to each other, nonstop about, how to hit different pitchers, how to do different things. If we were struggling, we would pick each other up. We became good friends. And Brandon Crawford to this day is, a great guy. And, I loved playing with him. And like I said, he taught me a lot, and I'm sure I helped him out as well.
Well, you were then drafted by the Cardinals in the 5th round. Can you take me through that day of the emotions and just finding out that you were drafted by a big league club?
I knew I was going to go on the first day because I played in the Cape Cod League, and then we were number one in the nation our junior year. So we had literally 50, 70, 100 scouts at our practices, at our games every single day. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it. And So that year, I knew I was going to go on the first day, but thought I was going to go earlier. So I was slotted to go in like the second or third round, and my name didn't get called, and I was a little like frustrated because I was like, "What?" I was supposed to go in the second or third round, and my name got called in the fifth round with the St. Louis Cardinals, and the scout he called me. He's like, "Hey, I know you don't know who I am because I haven't had any meetings with you, but you're going to be a big leaguer, and you're going to be a big leaguer with the St. Louis Cardinals." And, I went out to meet him and his family, and I signed the papers at his house. He says that's his tradition, that the players that he draft, um, the players that he draft will sign papers at his house to become big leaguers. And sure enough, I ended up becoming a big leaguer. So it all worked out.
Well, you spent many years in the farm system, like I mentioned before, minor league grinder, true minor league grinder. When you're in that system, what adversity did you face along the way throughout your playing career?
I mean, playing in the minor leagues is probably the hardest thing you'll ever do in life. And I know that sounds strange because I'm only 35, but because you're dealing with the most competitive people basically in the world, and it's a business as well. It's a corporate business. So if they invest more into somebody else, they're going to give them more chances than you. So you still got to fight, the real life situation, even though you're playing baseball. So as far as obstacles and all that, I mean, I'm not even talking about physical pains, and because if you're sitting on the bench or if you're in the in the training room and you can't play, somebody else is going to take that position. So you're going through pain every day. The mental grind of playing every day, that's tough. That wears on you. I mean, if you go, let's say, I think the longest stretch I went was like 0 for 40. Imagine going to, the field every single day and you haven't got a hit in like basically I mean, you haven't got a hit in what maybe almost 2 weeks. So imagine going through that grind and then, showing up to the ballpark and not having fun in that situation. So as far as obstacles and different things, minor leagues is a grind, but it taught me how to thrive and taught me how to win. And I'm a win in anything in life, because if I can win the minor leagues, I'll be able to win in anything else.
Sure. A lot of it's mental toughness and just going through it and just figuring out a way throughout that process. Did you ever feel that you weren't progressing as quickly as you'd like to? I feel like there's a lot of players out there who feel like they have these expectations for themselves and aren't reaching them immediately, but it's a game of patience too.
Yeah, like I said, I had a few people that were drafted the same positions as I would, but they were drafted in the first round. So I was following that person all the way up to the big league. So if they were in high A, I was in low A, and I kept following them. So it took me longer to get to the big leagues. It turned out that the Cardinals end up trading him, and next thing you know, I'm in the big leagues because they trade him. But it took me several years until I was able to get that opportunity. So I think, as far as not progressing, if you ask every minor league player or every player that reached to the big leagues, they said if they got drafted by another team, they would have been able to make it at a faster time. So I'll leave that. That's what I'll say about that.
A lot of it's luck and just timing, seeing who's injured at the big league level, what spots are able to be filled at that point in time. But I mean, I know it's been a few years removed for you of minor league baseball, but have you witnessed any flaws in the whole system of minor league baseball?
You know what? Since it's still kind of fresh, I mean, it was only like 3 years ago. I've kind of stopped looking at pro baseball right now. You know what I mean? I'm giving myself a break. But I'm sure, in the next year or two, I'll start, basically looking back to getting the pro ball, whether that be coaching or, some form or another. So right now I couldn't answer that question because I haven't even been updated on what's going on in the pro level.
Well, I know you've been spending a lot of time with your YouTube channel trying to help out the younger players, and you've done a great job with that, with posting videos with tips, advice, and all of that. Can you touch on that a little bit and what you're doing to help out the younger players out there?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't grow up with much. And in our, when I grew up, the coaching wasn't that good. So now that, I was able to learn a lot from players like Barry Bonds, Carlos Beltran, Matt Holliday, Ozzie Smith. I mean, we could go on from, the greats that I've learned. I've been able to accumulate all this knowledge, and I'm like, man, I'm about to just give it back. So I started making YouTube videos, and we're doing so far pretty good. I mean, I'm getting like 60,000 views a month, and I'm grown to 12,000 followers, and it's gotten me different opportunities, such as this past summer, I was coaching or managing in the new Appalachian League created by MLB and USA Baseball. And so it was my first gig managing, which was super tough, but I think I'll do it again. And yeah, it just came from my YouTube channel and me giving back, and people watching my videos, and helping the next generation. And it's all good. It's been a blast so far, and I'm gonna continue doing it. And all my teammates and former teammates are like, "Man, why are you doing YouTube? Like, come on, man, that's so beneath you." But I mean, I love it. I love making content. I love sharing my information, and I tell them all the time I'm gonna do it to the rest of my life. So that's me, and YouTube. Love it.
That's awesome. Now, you just mentioned too coaching and possibly that being a future venture of yours. Where do you see Jermaine Curtis 5-10 years from now?
I keep getting calls from different people. From one of my good friends, his name is Xavier Scruggs. He's a broadcaster, and he's telling me, "Hey, man, you need to get in front of the camera and do, ESPN and MLB." So I'm interested in doing that. I've been interested in making content. I love being in front of the camera. And as far as the coaching side, I love that as well. So I'm seeing if I can, mix all of those together to create something. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I know I'm on this path, and I'm going to continue towards it. It's like the same thing with the MLB. You like have this goal. You don't know if you're going to get there, but you keep trucking every single day. And that's where I'm at right now. It's like, all right, I know I love making content. I know that I'll be good in front of the camera. I know I can coach and help them. So how can I formulate and create something that mixes all those worlds together and create a good life? So that's where I'm at right now. Can't give you an exact plan. I wish, it was similar to like what I grew up, like your age, where I was like, you know what, when I was younger, I'm going to be an MLB player, and you knew what you're going to do. At this point, I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but I know it's in that direction.
Awesome. Great stuff, Jermaine. I appreciate you hopping on, and great knowledge, great wisdom, and best of luck to you. Hopefully we'll see you on MLB Network or somewhere in the near future.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate it.
We'd like to thank you for tuning in to Billy the Batboy's Corner, presented by Up On Game. Jermaine is obviously somebody who's very inspirational, has done a lot in this industry of sports and sports media and his new venture. And if you'd like to check out more of what we're doing here with Billy the Batboy's Corner, stay tuned on social media at Billy the Batboy, at Up On Game Network. We're also working with the Father English Center in Paterson, New Jersey. And of course, if you like this video, please rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see you next time here on the show.